History is just dry facts, dates, and boring textbooks, right? Well, nope. It's actually more like gossip that just never made it to your Twitter feed. Today, we're digging up the scandals your history teacher definitely didn't mention, either because they didn't know or because it was just too awkward to explain. So everyone knows this myth. Napoleon was a shorty. Sounds funny? Of course. But here's the problem. It's complete nonsense. In reality, he was 5 feet 7 inches, or 170 centimeters for normal people, which was absolutely average height for his time. So why did everyone decide he was tiny? Well, the French used their weird measurement system, and the British had their own. Somewhere along the way, someone messed up the conversion, and voila, a pint-sized conqueror was born. But wait, there's more. Did you know that after his death, Napoleon's doctor cut off his, private part? And get this, it still exists. First, it was kept in the doctor's family, then sold at an auction. Yes, you could actually buy it. And now it's part of an American doctor's collection. Okay, picture a modern environmental activist. They wear a Save the Planet t-shirt, drive an electric car, and protest against hunting. Well, Roosevelt was the complete opposite. He literally said, "Let's save the forests," and then went on a shooting spree against everything that lived there. Teddy was an avid hunter. His trophy list included bears, lions, elephants, and honestly, if someone had handed him a time machine, he probably would have bagged a dinosaur too. But at the same time, he created national parks, wildlife reserves, and conservation laws. That's like opening an animal shelter and then saying, well, a few of them can go on the grill. The funniest part? He's the reason we have the famous teddy bear. Ironic? Oh, absolutely. Because during one hunting trip, when they tied up a bear for him to shoot, he refused. But all the other bears he took down? Yeah, they just weren't that lucky. If you think modern celebrities go overboard with divorces, just wait until you hear about Henry VIII. This guy didn't just swap wives. He practically turned it into his own royal pastime. He had 6 wives, and how did that end? 2 executed, 2 divorced, 1 died naturally, and 1 just outlived him. Not bad stats, huh? This wasn't just royal life. It was a 16th century reality show. Imagine The Bachelor, but instead of a final rose, there's an executioner's axe. It all started because Henry really wanted a son, but his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, only gave him a daughter. Henry was like, okay, then I want a divorce. And the Pope was like, haha, nope, buddy. So what did Henry do? Like a true stubborn king, he just created his own church to grant himself permission. Now that is dedication. And from there, it was a wild ride. So poetry is all about romance, deep emotions, and beautiful metaphors, right? Well, not for Lord Byron. In the 19th century, he was basically a rock star, just without the guitar but with enough scandals to make Hollywood look tame. Byron was so famous for his love affairs that his personal life was hotter than his poetry. He had romances with just about everyone, aristocrats, actresses, men, even rumors about his own sister. Yep, you heard that right. This guy could have been the main character in the most dramatic season of Game of Thrones. His lifestyle was so scandalous that eventually society was like, you know what, Byron? Maybe it's time for you to, I don't know, leave, like forever. So he packed up and moved to Greece, where, because poetry wasn't chaotic enough, he decided to become a revolutionary and fight for independence. Because, you know, when your name is already ruined in Britain, why not try your hand at being a war hero? Sadly, he died there at just 36, and the British were like, maybe we overreacted. But Byron's legacy still lives on, both in his poetry and in his endless romantic scandals. He was literally the first celebrity to get canceled long before social media was even a thing. If you think artists are just quiet people who sit in their studios and paint, then you clearly haven't met Salvador Dalí. He didn't just create surrealist paintings. He lived in his own surrealist world. Picture this. He used to walk around Paris with an anteater on a leash. Not a dog, not a cat, an anteater. Because why have a normal pet when you can have something that looks like it just escaped from one of your own paintings? And then there was the time he showed up to a lecture in a diving suit. Because, you know, simply explaining art wasn't dramatic enough. He had to do it like an astronaut, who had landed on Earth specifically to teach us about beauty. The only problem? He forgot that diving suits aren't great for breathing, and he nearly suffocated in his own performance. Oh, and let's not forget, he once threw a plate of snails at a waiter because he didn't like the vibe of the food, or the fact that he claimed he was the reincarnation of his dead father, who was also named Salvador. Yes, this man was a walking meme, long before the internet. Cleopatra wasn't just an Egyptian queen. She was the final boss of political intrigue in the ancient world. Forget everything you've seen in Hollywood movies. She wasn't just lounging around, being fed grapes. She literally rolled herself up in a carpet to sneak into Julius Caesar's room. Let's set the scene. You're a young ruler, and your throne is on the line. What do? File an official request? Arrange diplomatic talks? Nah, too boring. Cleopatra went full chaotic genius mode. She had her servants wrap her in a carpet and deliver her straight to Caesar's quarters. Now, imagine Caesar's face. You're sitting there, planning world domination, when someone brings in a massive rug. You're thinking, a fancy Roman carpet. But nope, out rolls a stunning queen, like an ancient Tinder surprise. Did it work? Oh, absolutely. The very next day, Cleopatra was officially in an alliance with Caesar. And, like magic, her political troubles started disappearing. Now that's what you call knowing how to make an entrance. So, picture this. It's the 17th century in Russia, and you've got a glorious, thick beard that you're super proud of. Then along comes Tsar Peter I, and he's like, oh no, my friend, that'll cost you. Yep, this guy was so obsessed with European-style reforms that he decided real progress starts with a clean-shaven face. And what did he do? He introduced a beard tax. Want to look like a wise philosopher or a fierce Cossack? Better cough up some cash or we're shaving you on the spot. Naturally, people lost their minds. Imagine men sprinting away from tax collectors, covering their beards like they were smuggling contraband. But the ones who suffered the most? The boyars. Russia's old-school aristocrats who saw beards as holy. And then Peter rolls in like, you know what, guys? Time to look European. You know that one friend who can't function without their morning coffee? Well, compared to Voltaire, they're a total amateur. The French philosopher, writer, master of sarcasm, and official caffeine addict. Legend has it he drank up to 50 cups of coffee a day. 50! My dude, at that point, it's not a beverage as it's a lifestyle. And here's the best part. His doctor once told him coffee would kill him. He just took another sip and kept writing his masterpieces. Honestly, this guy was powered by caffeine. His brain was so productive that maybe, just maybe, we owe half of his works to his coffee addiction. So, everyone knows the Kama Sutra, the legendary ancient Indian text about, well, let's call it partner-based physical activities. But here's where the real scandal begins. Its author, Sage Vatsyayana, likely never had any experience in the field himself. Yep, turns out the world's most famous adult acrobatics manual was written by a guy who, by all accounts, lived as an ascetic. That's like someone writing a Michelin star cookbook while surviving on plain oatmeal their whole life. And the funniest part? The Kama Sutra isn't just about what you think. Only 20% of the book is the, let's say, practical section. The rest? It's full of advice on relationships, etiquette, communication skills, and even how to get along with your wife. Yes, believe it or not, that was once considered more important than bedroom gymnastics. When you hear the name Benjamin Franklin, you probably picture one of the founding fathers of the US, the guy who invented the lightning rod, and just an all-around genius. But here's what your history teacher definitely didn't tell you. Franklin had a very peculiar morning ritual. He loved to sit completely naked by an open window. Yep, this is not a joke. He called it air baths and believed that chilling in the breeze in the nude was great for his health. And this wasn't some weird one-time thing. This was his daily routine. Now it's your turn. Which of these historical scandals shocked you the most? Or do you know an even crazier story that never made it into history class? Drop it in the comments. And of course, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss more insane tales from the past. Because if history has taught us anything, it's that it's never, ever boring.